Court would next call the matter of Noah War versus Emily Peel, file number 23-19234 BC. We have the parties on that matter present.
Present.
Ms. Peel, can you hear the court okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and Mr. War, this is your motion, or you filed parenting time violations, is that correct?
Correct.
All right, and what is going on with your parenting time?
She is just refusing to let me have parenting time. I have showed up to the state police post as instructed in our parenting time motion or our parenting agreement. She's just flat out refusing.
So it looks like your parenting time was to resume on October 11th. Have you had any parenting time since that time?
No, sir.
Okay. Ms. Peel, what would you like to say regarding this matter?
She has been seeing a counselor for almost a year now, and the counselor recommends no visitation because of her PTSD. Cannot testify today due to her contract that does not allow her to do so.
Also, and did you file any motions to stop parenting time?
No, I did not, Your Honor. I did not know I had to do that.
Well, you were here in court back in September, correct? And we had a hearing, and it was ordered that the parenting time resume, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you file an objection to that recommendation?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Take a look at the objection. What happened with your objection, ma'am?
Denied.
Okay. So then you understand when it's denied, then that the order remains in place. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And have you complied with the custody order?
No, Your Honor.
What is your plan moving forward with the custody order?
I plan to continue objecting.
There's no objection or motion. So right now there's an order in place that says what is to happen. There's no motions out there or any requests to change that. When somebody violates an order and doesn't follow an order, the court can fine them. They can put them in jail. There's lots of different options that the court has. I don't know if one of those steps is going to be necessary in order to get you to comply. Yeah, you're admitting that you've not followed the order, correct?
No, Your Honor.
So you also understand that he's potentially entitled to make up parenting time if you don't follow an order, which could then result in a lot of additional parenting time. Are you aware of that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you're indicating right now that you are not willing to you're not willing to follow the order, is that correct?
I just want to keep my daughter safe. And my daughter tells me that he has hurt her. It is my job to keep her safe.
I mean, we've had hearings on those issues. I think there's been involvement from different agencies. And I don't think any of that necessarily came through at those hearings or agency findings. There were a lot of allegations that went unproven when we did have a hearing back in September. Has anything changed? Has there been, so he hasn't had any contact since that time, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. War, what is your actual parenting time schedule supposed to be?
Every other weekend, holiday, and parenting time, as I believe it is the holidays, and I get 6 weeks in the summer, and flip-flop on holidays and birthdays.
Okay. All right. Anything else you wish to say, Ms. Peel?
No, Your Honor.
All right, well, I mean, certainly based on what's been presented to the court, there was a court order put into place in October. There was a period where there was no parenting time for Mr. War. There was an ex parte order. There was then a hearing granted for this matter. The parties had their opportunity then to present any evidence as to what should forward based on really the lack of what was presented from Ms. Peel, that it was ordered that the parenting time resume. It appears that has not happened now. And we're approaching 6 months of it not being followed. So given the failure to follow the order, without any new allegations of anything that happened that were presented at the last hearing, I would find that Ms. Peel is in contempt. I would order make up parenting time.
Can I make a request, Your Honor?
What is your request, sir?
My parents are coming from Oregon on May 24th through the 26th. Can I have some of that time made up during that time?
All right, I'll look at a calendar and we'll see. All right, so what I'm going to do in order to address, I mean, really, you've got about 6 months of missed weekends every other weekend. So about 12 missed weekends we're looking at. Do you work on the weekends, Mr. War, or are you available?
No, sir. I'm available on the weekends.
Okay. So in order to address the missed time, what I'm going to do is indicate that there will be 12 made up weekends. So you already have every other weekend anyways. I'm going to indicate is beginning April 4th, Friday, April 4th. That Mr. War would have every weekend for 24 straight weekends. So that would be 12 makeup weekends plus the every other weekend that he's entitled to. So we're filling in those missed weekends. So they'll have beginning April 4th, he gets 20. Well, then we run into summer. So hold on. In summer, you get every other week. Is that correct?
I think it's 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, 1 week, 1 week. Or, yeah.
All right. So what we're going to do instead is beginning April 4th. Mr. War is going to have every weekend throughout April and May, as well as that first weekend in every weekend throughout April and May. So that's 9 weekends. Then you'll have your summer parenting time in June, July, and August. And then in September, we have every weekend in September. Every weekend in October. And every weekend in November. Then beginning December 5th, you would go back to alternating weekends. Well, beginning in December, you go back to alternating weekends with your first December weekend being December 12th. So we will obviously provide the two of you a written version of this, but essentially it's every weekend in April and May, summer parenting time in the summer, every weekend in September, October, and November, and then in December, going back to every other weekend. Any questions, Mr. War?
No, sir.
Any questions, Ms. Peel?
No, Your Honor.
All right, so at this time, I'm not imposing any fine or any other potential sanctions, which can include jail time. But if we continue to come back on violations, then obviously the penalties have to increase. All right, thank you both for being here today. We're all set.